Hello and welcome to Granny Mo's Bookshelf. Today we will be reading Charlie the Tramp by Russell Hoban and Lillian Hoban. Oops. Oopsie. But it's copyright 1966. These other books by them is Bedtime for Francis, Bread and Jam for Francis, Herman the Loser, Nothing to Do, and A Sorely Trying Day. What happened when Jack and Daisy tried to fool the Tooth Fairy? I only know a couple of the books in that list, not all of them. But Charlie the Tramp. This is Charlie the Tramp. Well, well, said Grandfather Beaver one day when he came to visit Charlie. Charlie is getting to be a big boy. Yes, he is, said Father. He's coming right along. Grandfather smiled at Charlie and took a quarter out of his vest pocket. What are you going to be when you grow up, Charlie? Asked Grandfather. I'm going to be a tramp, said Charlie. A tramp, said Mother. A tramp, said Father. A tramp, said Grandfather. And he put the quarter back in his vest pocket. Yes, said Charlie, I'm going to be a tramp. I'm surprised to hear that, said Father. Your grandfather has been doing beaver work for many years, and I'm a beaver too. But you want to be a tramp? That's how it is nowadays, said Grandfather, shaking his head. When I was young, children did not want to be tramps. I don't think Charlie really wants to be a tramp, said Mother. Oh, yes, I do, said Charlie. Tramps don't have to learn how to chop down trees or roll logs or build dams. Tramps don't have to practice swimming and diving and holding their breath underwater, and no one looks to see if their teeth are sharp, and no one looks to see if their fur is oiled. Tramps carry sticks with little bundles tied to them, and they sleep in a field, and when the weather is nice, and when it rains, they sleep in a barn. Tramps just tramp around and have a good time, and when they want something to eat, they do little jobs for anybody who wants little jobs done. I have lots of little jobs for you to do, said Father. You can help me cut saplings for our winter food. You can help me dig extra tunnels for our lodge. And of course, the dam always needs repairs. That is not little jobs, said Charlie. That's hard work. When I was young, said Grandfather, children did hard work. Nowadays, all they want is little jobs. Well, said Father, if Charlie wants to be a tramp, then I think he should be a tramp. I think we should not stand in his way. The weather is nice and warm now, said Charlie. May I start sleeping in the fields? All right, said Mother. Charlie tied up some fig Newtons and some good and plenties in a handkerchief, and he tied the handkerchief to a stick, and he was ready to go. And now it's time for me to hit the road. To be on the road and away, said Charlie. Goodbye, Mr. Tramp, said Father and Grandfather. Goodbye, Mr. Tramp, said Mother. Come home for in time for breakfast, and don't forget to brush your teeth tonight. Goodbye, said Charlie. Tramps don't brush their teeth. He got into his little boat and rowed across the pond and tramped off the road while Mother and Father and Grandfather waved to him. Now that I think of it, said Grandfather, I wanted to be a tramp when I was little, just like Charlie. So did I, said Father. That is how men are, said Mother. They all want to be tramps. When Charlie tramped down the road, kicking a stone and whistling and tramping a song as he went, he looked at the blue hills far away and listened to the cowbells tinkling in the meadows. Sometimes he stopped to throw stones at telephone poles, and sometimes he sat under a tree and watched clouds roll by. Charlie kept tramping until it was almost sundown, and then he picked a field to sleep in. He picked a field where the daisies grew and the grass and the cloves smelled sweet. Charlie untied his little bundle and took out some fig Newtons and some good and plainies, and he ate them as the stars came out. Being a tramp is nice, said Charlie to himself, and he went to sleep. Mother was watching him from the window the next morning when he rode across the pond. Here comes Charlie, she said to Father, with his fur every which way and a bundle of daisies on his stick. Good morning, lady, said Charlie when Mother opened the door, and he gave her the daisies. Do you have a little job I can do for my breakfast, he said. You can bail out the rowboat, said his father. That would be a nice little job for you. All right, said Charlie, and then I will eat my breakfast and on the back steps, because that's how us tramps do it. So Charlie bailed out the rowboat. While he was eating his breakfast on the back steps, Father came and sat down beside him. Do you like being a tramp, he said. I like it fine, said Charlie. It's a lot easier than being a beaver. How did you sleep last night, said Father. Fine, said Charlie, but something kept waking me up. Was it anything scary, said Father. No, said Charlie, it was something nice, but I don't know what it was. I'll have to listen for it again tonight. Then Charlie rode across the pond and went off down the road whistling his tramping song. Charlie tramped all day. He listened to the birds singing. He smelled the flowers that grew by the side of the road, and sometimes he stopped to pick blackberries. Sometimes he walked along the top rails of fences. At lunch and dinner time, Charlie went home and did little jobs for his lunch and dinner. He stacked winter saplings in the basement for his lunch, and for his dinner he helped his father fix a broken plank on the boat landing. After dinner, Charlie went back to the field where the clover and the daisies grew. Charlie ate his fig Newtons and his good and plenties, and he listened for the sound that he had heard the night before. Charlie heard frogs and crickets singing in the quiet of the night, and he heard something else. He heard a trickling, tickling kind of a song that had no words. Trickling, tickling song made Charlie want to hear it better, so he got up and went down to the trees from where the sound was coming from. And he saw a little stream that sang as it ran in the moonlight, and he sat down and listened to the song again. But the sound of the trickling kept tickling Charlie, and he could not sit still. So he took off his clothes and he dived into the stream and swam around inside the song the water was singing. Then Charlie climbed down and cut a little tree that was growing on the bank. When the tree fell down, he rolled it into the water. Charlie took a deep breath and swam to the bottom of the stream with the tree stuck in the mud so that it would not float away. Then he listened to the song of the water, and he liked it better than before, so Charlie cut down some more trees and began to make a little dam to keep all the water from trickling away. Charlie worked on his dam all night, and by morning the stream had widened into a pond, and the song of the water had stopped tickling Charlie, and he said, "Now I guess I can go back to sleep." So he brushed his teeth to keep them sharp, he oiled his fur to keep it waterproof, and he went to sleep in the old hollow tree by his new pond. Charlie slept right through breakfast time, and Mother began to worry when she didn't see him. "I'm sure Charlie is all right," said Father, "but I think we should look for him anyhow." And he went down to the boat landing and slapped the water with his tail. Whack! Whack, answered Grandfather with his tail, and he came over to see what the matter was. I never did think any good would come of letting that boy run off to be a tramp, said his mother. "That's how it is nowadays," said Grandfather. "Boys run off, and no good comes of it. So Mother and Father and Grandfather went looking for Charlie, and after a while they came to a new pond, but they did not see Charlie sleeping in the hollow tree. They came to the new pond. I don't remember seeing a pond around here before, said Grandfather. Neither did I, said Father. It must be a new one. That's a pretty good pond, said Grandfather. I wonder who made it. I don't know, said Father. You think maybe Harry Beaver might have done it? No, said Grandfather. Harry always makes a sloppy dam. This one's not sloppy at all. What about old Zeb Beaver? Said Father. Zeb always makes a good-looking dam. No, said Grandfather. Zeb never makes a round pond like this. Zeb always likes long-shaped ponds. You're right, said Father. He does. You know, said Mother to Father, this pond looks like the ponds you make. She's right, said Grandfather. It does. That's funny, said Father. I didn't make it. I wonder who did. I did, said Charlie, waking up and coming out of the hollow tree. That's my pond. That's your pond, said Father. That's my pond, said Charlie. I thought you were going to be a tramp, said Grandfather. Tramps don't make ponds. Well, said Charlie, sometimes I like to tramp around, and sometimes I like to make ponds. Any tramp that can make a pond like that is going to be some beaver one of these days, said Father. That's how it is nowadays, said Grandfather. You never know when a tramp will turn out to be a beaver. And he took the quarter out of his vest pocket and gave it to Charlie. Thank you, said Charlie. Where's Mother? But Mother had run back to the boat, rowed across the pond as fast as she could, and had flapjacks and maple syrup ready on the table when the men got home. The end. I hope you enjoyed Charlie the Tramp by Russell Hoban. Pictures by Lillian Hoban. Copyright 1966. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Love you all. Take care. Bye.